Well, welcome to London. This is awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of your own vision,
Mhm.
from the franchise point of view, how important is this on an international stage?
It's critically important. I mean, to think about, we have 4 million fans in Chicago, 15 million fans in the state of Illinois, 40 million fans worldwide. Someone told me this morning that we have the largest following of fans around the world for a U.S. sports franchise in any sport. But you think 40 million fans, and I'm always thinking about what can we do, because you've heard me say it before, I look at our fans from 10 months old to 110 years old. And there will be fans that were not Chicago Bears fans a week ago, but after spending time here and going back home, we'll have new fans. And I love the fact of the younger demographics, even just coming here today to spend time with you, seeing NFL gear in downtown London, which is really, special. And then it allows us to have mini Monsters clinics and girls flag football, and even this collaboration between Asset FC and Mitchell and Ness, all those different kind of things. The NFL is a global business, and the Chicago Bears are beloved around the world.
Yeah, and not just London. I know there's marketing deals
Right.
with Spain
Right.
and England, but does it align with an NFL perspective for the Bears in terms of what you would like to get
Yes.
out of the European situation?
Yes. I mean, I think we have to look at this from a global standpoint. We're one of the founding franchises in the National Football League, and that's why I wear this George Halas pin. He was the innovator. And I even asked myself this morning during my quiet prayer time, what would George Halas feel about playing internationally? And I think he'd be all for it, because it's the growth of the game. I mean, you look the way that he helped other owners and other franchises and, to make the league stronger. And the international games make the league, stronger, brings people together. And last time I was here, walking into the stadium, I challenged myself to see if I could find how many jerseys I could find, and before I walked in, it was all 32. I was able to see.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens
That's
here.
what happens.
And so to be able to see the growth. I watched the game last week, the morning after my workout last week before our game, and just the fandom associated with it. But to be able to bring our staff, and I'm always about the education part. Even some of our players on our team, for them to be able to travel abroad, to be able to come here and.
Some have never traveled
Some
abroad.
have never traveled abroad.
So this is the first time.
So this is the first time. And we'll have Staley here with us. But to see our players kind of grow, and I just think, one of my goals, even when I came here to the Bears, was to do all we could do to shrink the world and to make the world smaller. And when you take trips like this, you realize that, people are people. They love sports. The world is small. There's goodness in everyone, and there's great opportunity around the world.
And as an attraction to certain players.
Yes.
And this is where I'm coming from, covering so many Super Bowls in my life, almost 30 of them. This has a Super Bowl setting feel,
right,
okay, the news conferences, and that is good for your players to say, hey, this is what it's going to be like when.
Yes,
Don't you agree?
Good. It's good. And even this setting here, I mean, anytime also you can create that training camp atmosphere to be here in this beautiful, location for players to spend time together is great. Like you said, it has a different feel. This doesn't seem like a regular season game. This has something, and even the travel and associated with it. And when you think about the tradition, I mean, if you have to think about two locales and also organizations that are similar, is you think about London and the Chicago Bears, just the history and the tradition to go back. And this franchise, 105 years old, and how it has impacted the National Football League. You think about Miss McCaskey will be 102 years old in January. And when, even driving in yesterday and looking at Parliament and Big Ben and the Tower of London and the River Thames, passing that and all those different things. And then, like I said, I've always loved to read. I've always loved to travel. Didn't get a chance to do it as a kid.
Yeah.
And now a lot of these books that I was able to read as a kid, to be able to come back. We love London. I've been blessed to come here with my wife, Greta, to Wimbledon and travel here many times before. So it always is very comfortable, coming here and just have some incredible experiences.
And knowing you, you're noting the architecture, as you mentioned,
always.
because you obviously have these visions,
Yep.
right? So this is a major metropolitan city that we're playing in central London, the different stadiums. And You know, you were asked at the news conference earlier about the stadium situation, and I look at it as a stoplight. Right now, it's green light, go, right? Until somebody tells you no.
Right. And that's the key. I mean, you have to plan ahead, and I get so many ideas here. I mean, we were here last year for a conference, and went over to Tottenham, and you look at Tottenham. I mean, there are people living literally across the street.
It's a neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood. And so when you start thinking about, you know, some individuals in Chicago will raise, you know, the museum campus that is so crowded and congested, and I'm thinking, to have, if you took some individuals here from London and said, here's the footprint, you got some great museums, you have the most beautiful lake that is near downtown, and you have Northerly Island and this different green space, and to be able to put a stadium in there, they would look and say, really? I mean, this is a challenge. It's beautiful. And so what I'm trying to do is for us to figure out a way that it becomes a win-win-win opportunity for everyone involved. But you're right, I love architecture, but to see it integrated here, to see all the history and tradition is really special. And again, even driving in from the airport yesterday to the city, cranes are in the air everywhere. And I say it all the time here. I mean, to think that we only have a handful of cranes, you know, in Chicago, only 2 north of the river. But when you see it here, that tells you that there's growth. And even for a city like this that's been around, is that you need to grow and build to keep that vibrancy going.
Green light, go.
Yeah.
Lastly, the team and its personality also fits this setting.
Yep.
We have a bunch of guys now that are able to express themselves in a manner maybe that they didn't in the past. And I think of Caleb right off the gate. You can't think of a more international figure who can attract international audiences than a man at 22 who stands before you like the CEO of a football team, right? As he handles himself with great character and personality. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%. I mean, part of, you know, the NFL pro sports and at large is, one, you got to have great players. You have to have great coaches. You have to have great, you know, leaders who put these organizations together from an football operations standpoint. And so the thing that I'm excited about is we have personalities on our team who are incredibly talented. And that's why all the elements, that's why I'm so excited about the future. We have all the elements in place. You know, we have that, you know, that real maturity, that experience in Mercedes Lewis, you know, to Caleb and having Rome. I mean, look at the number of young, you know, players. And to see that come together, and you love having that personality. They all have a common goal. They want to win, but they're all different, you know, which is what you want. The thing I really like about it is that they enjoy each other. Just watching them on our road trips, even around the building, people in our organization, whether it's staff, whether it's coaches, whether our players, they enjoy being around each other. And so when I say that I have great love for George McCaskey and the McCaskey family and Ryan and Coach Eberflus and even our players, like, we really mean it. I have great love for you. And
I appreciate that.
No, what I'm saying, to spend time, because you know what? To accomplish greatness, one, you got to respect people and you got to love people, because the time that it takes and to go that extra mile is really about love, respect, and admiration. We have it in this organization. So the key for us is going to be stay healthy, to keep believing, to put in the work, and just set standards of that we want to be exceptional, not only on the football field, in the organization, in the stadium pursuit, and that we need to understand what the Chicago Bears are about. And that's history, tradition, innovation, winning, and culture, and to realize that we're a founding franchise. So I'm excited. I am so blessed every single day to be associated with this organization and to be here in London to pull all this together with culture, tradition, the Bears, London, food, Tottenham, our players, is really spectacular.